America's
More
daily
than
COVID caseload.
Surge of
1,800 positive
COVID cases have hit an
COVID-19
alarming
cases in LA
milestone.
County today topped
195
2,000.
confirmed
More cases in a single day than any other day of the pandemic.
The only thing is really to look to the theory of infectious diseases, to watch at the virus and to realize this is our history. That's our society. That's the belief of our society. And it's a belief system. If you watch deeper, you'll find no trace of science. Only, of course, scientific institute and scientific tools which you can use to do some real science. They are there. But they are misused to claim there is real science out there.
Okay, ready?
Hello, my name is Stefan Lanka. I am born here in this nice village of Langenargen, just 150 meters from here. And I have a lot of things to say to, dissolve the fog, not only of Corona, and I would say let's start and ring the bell. This is a big chance for everybody to understand on one side what is real science as a very important tool for human beings, for humankind, but then slowly to learn, well, they are not following the laws of science, and in the end, it's hard to hear, but it's a religion. It's all depending on the theory of infectious diseases, and if you are believing it, that a human being is getting ill because of a virus or bacteria, and that you are even spreading it, then it makes completely sense. To wear masks, to protect others, to protect you, and then it makes more or less sense, And but if you go a dimension deeper and you are questioning, hey, is the theory proven? Is there a basis? Is there a real scientific base for it? And then you quickly understand it's not. I not consider any virologist as criminal, but as I did before. But I'm convinced. They are completely anti-scientific, and it's easy to see, it's easy to prove. Just read their publications, you see it, And who is anti-scientific is in the same time anti-social, because the wrong measurements, the wrong, decisions are taken out of it, and this is the basis of what we have,
If I say to you the words faith and assumption, what comes to mind?
Well, I mean, this whole corona crisis is based on faith, that you can't trust nature, that nature is producing viruses, and virus are entities just aim to destroy, to self-replicate. So that's the principle of a self-replicating devil, And that's the faith, and that was still the majority of people believing it. When I was starting to watch into HIV, I saw there is no virus in the paper. There are just characteristics of dying cells, and they were misinterpreted as a part of a virus. The whole thing has never been seen, nor isolated. And all the photos claim to be a virus. It's all artifacts in cell culture, in the test tube. There is no single photograph of a virus in the blood, in sperm, or in cells, in organs of the body. No single. It's incredibly easy like this, So, of course, I was aware, then I was looking left and right to other viruses, and then I realized I'm not stupid, that's true what I was reading. I mean, it was a nightmare for me to come across this. I could not speak out to anybody for half a year because I thought, I am stupid, A virus is thought to be a piece of genetic material enveloped in a shell. That's the definition of a virus, a piece of dangerous genetic material. So it's not a toxin, but dangerous genetic material. That's the definition of a virus. And they have it only in mind because it doesn't exist in reality. They believe that when cells are dying in the test tube, they transform themselves into virus because they added a virus. From the mouth of a deceased person, a measles case, or now with corona, they take a swab, putting it into the test tube. And then if the cells are dying, they believe we isolated the virus. And they speak about the isolate. And they freeze the dying cell culture, use it for the production of a vaccine or take it anew into uninfected cell culture. And they say, look, we reproduce the infection, But it's just self-betraying. Because they are not following the strict rules to prove every step by a control experiment.
Okay. What is the control experiment?
And the control experiment would be easy. Is the dying of the cells in the test tube really induced by a virus or by the condition of the test tube? And of course, I carried out these control experiments. They are dying because of the condition in the test tube. And it's easy like this. They starve the cells to death. They put highly toxic antibiotics, which eventually kill those cells. And then they believe it's a virus, because then they just add seemingly infected material. But if you took the same material, sterilized the material, it would die in the same way. If you use other organic material into decay, completely non-infected, they die in the same manner. And this is when they came up and they speak about isolation, they speak about isolate, what they have in the fridge. And this is self-fooling. This is
So let's just emphasize that point. What they're doing is actually in the process of believing that they are proving the existence and isolating a virus, they are actually themselves killing the tissue.
That's it.
They're killing the tissue.
That's it. Look, this is funny, this is saying, Achtung, attention, danger of slippery, Rutschgefahr, danger of, and it's because this is not so visible. The scientists could not read it, and they were not being aware to question themselves always. This is the first rule of science, to question yourself, And if you're not doing, you are in slippery ground, This is a collective warning for every notion which comes of science. Check the evidence, check everything, question everything. That's the first rule in science, to question yourself and the others constantly, to avoid misconception, to realize wrong going on. I keep saying, and this sounds cruel to everybody who lost a member, family, friend, neighbor to what they called cancer, If you digested this concept that you can't trust your body and that nature itself is materializing the bad, and the bad is eating up yourself, multiplying itself in the body, moving inside the body and moving out, I mean, then and the suffering which is there, that's the proof that it's like this. And in fact, if you have no better understanding, you are in the trap. And this trap was set on various stages in history, and in its modern form that we are believing in this concept, this was set in the year 1858. And if you don't know it, you stay in the trap, in the materialistic good-bad system, and you have no way to get out. The assumption was that a virus is a toxin which is causing disease. That's the very basic assumption. And this goes back to the theory of life of Rudolf Virchow in the year 1858. And this assumption that life and cells especially are producing the toxin of disease, and you only get healthy if you let your blood with the disease, poison of disease out, or if you take the antitoxin, or the body has time to produce the antitoxin, the antibody. So you see, body, virus, antibody. And he realized, you see it in his theory, he said the smallest indivisible unit of life is the cell. And everything is originated out of a cell. And all disease is originating out of a cell when the cell is building the toxin of disease. In doing so, in establishing his theory of cellular pathology, he revitalized this old idea in a modern form with all the results we have. This is setting our imagination. And if we have no other ideas how life could work, then we are in a prison. We are imprisoned in this system of thinking, you know. And this is really dangerous. Questioning, it's a conspiracy against the state. Because since Virchow in 1858, state and medicine and science became one. And questioning them is a conspiracy against the state. I can only recommend you to read the book of Irving Chargaff, Outlook out of the 13th floor. In this book you'll find the sentences that he said, when you are taking away imagination from the children, you are destroying the very base of humankind. Amen. And that's true. That's deep.